The most powerful Yu-Gi-Oh budget decks of all time. The type of decks that really make you look at it and go, damn, if only I could pack a punch like that. Since the 25th anniversary collection, Yu-Gi-Oh's become ridiculously cheap. Almost cheap enough that I can buy water again. It's alright, I swear. I found a really simple life hack for it. With this gun I found. In this video, I'll show you 5 of my favorite budget decks for dominating the meta without spending over 80 bucks. And with the holiday season approaching, I know it can be difficult to handle everything in your to-do list, but these decks can help you save on those gifts that you asked that special someone for over a year ago. You fucking virgin. Can I say that in the opening?
Wait a minute, now.
And what better place to start than the craziest deck to top recently? Dynamorphia. I don't know, but something about her name. I can't say her name. Contregania? The fuck? Yeah, she definitely from like Detroit or some shit, bro. I'm getting wild with this one.
Not?
I genuinely don't know how the fuck to say her name. She may have a silly name, but she's making me feel silly inside. Let me tell you what. Despite having everything dinosaurs actually have to play with, Dynamorphia kind of just sticks to itself lately, using almost none of the extra cards it could really play, which is weird because most of the deck actually has a lot of cool stuff to play with. Your main goal of the deck is playing Rexterm as a pseudo skill drain, or using the power of Evil Sword Xyz monsters to just be big ass negates on your board, being able to beat any amount of decks that usually come in contact with you. Keep in mind though, Dynamorphia is still a trap deck first, and with it, the type of cards that welcome in those strategies are welcome to yours. Cards like Solemn Judgment. Judgment is a great card for a deck due to Dynamorphia enjoying having their life already, and Judgment just also adding on top of that. In addition to that, Prosperity has now been discussed as an affordable card, mostly because of the 25th anniversary rarity collection. Of course, talking about budget decks is pretty difficult if we don't bring up everybody's favorite budget deck. Fluonderies, the best deck to lose friends with. Fluonderies' main gimmick is that it doesn't special summon, and this opens up plenty of new potential ways to combo off against your opponent, and most of your inboards end with Fluonderies and N-Pin. N-Pin is a card that, by itself, turns off a lot of deck. I would have guessed a skill drain on legs that just locks special summon monsters out of using their effects is really good. On top of that, Fluonderies just already has free opportunity to use the entire extra deck, mostly because they don't use the extra deck, so that's free fodder for your Prosperity and Extravagance. Overall, it's a really good deck. But Sword Soul, on the other hand, is the exact opposite of Fluonderies, where you'll get more friends if you play, and let me tell you, they can utterly overwhelm any deck on top of that. Many of these decks' lines lead to a fairly rough inboard if disrupted, but for that risk, you get the pretty big reward of ending on a Baronne de Fort pretty safely, or just ending on She Shall Pass. You're able to effortlessly OTK your opponent using this strategy, and, you know, just going first, you have the Tinny monsters, so there's opportunity to that. Sword Soul of Millier may be an excellent starter and extender for the deck, but it does remain to be the most expensive card for it, being around $5. After that hurdle is passed, this deck is incredibly affordable, like 50 bucks worth. If you're unfamiliar with the game, a deck like this is perfect to get you started, showing off synchros via ways that many decks actually stop. And also, I mean, you get to play the funny worm archetype. Like, what do you want from me? What do you want me to say about this? Now, Trap Chicks is another perfect mid-range deck. However, unlike Dynamorphia and Fluonderies, Trap Chicks is the perfect deck for anyone on the FBI watch list.
No.
I suppose it's also good for showing how traps can manage games as well, I guess. Trap Chicks is extremely well off in the engine. All of their monsters have multiple effects based on how they are summoned, and have a good enabler in the gameplay thanks to Trap Chick Sarah. The problem you see with Trap Chicks is that they also need Prosperity to play previously, but again, thanks to the reprint, this deck is so much easier to play. My way of playing Trap Chicks was previously just using Parallel Exceed to just easily summon out Rafflesia before your 5th summon, and now thanks to that, you also have a way to get into a free Link 3 with their new Link 3 from the Structure deck, and also just easily improving mini combos just by using the card itself. And although Exceed seems like a great card by itself, it can also really lead you into a lot of interesting Cyber Slink effects. I think we know where this is going. Marine Sense is the perfect deck to finish off a video like this, showcasing his power as a true mid-range combo pile that can fully develop the more you play with the deck. Marine Sense is a perfect mid-range deck, like many of the usual meta decks, that uses monsters to set up a mix of monsters, spells, and traps to create a unique way of negating your opponent, especially if you control the game properly. Just having a way to Spring Girl allows the deck to end on a superb board that can endure virtually everything your opponent sends at it, while also being easy to build back up if they ever do. If you control your resources better than your opponent, the deck has a ton of ways to get back into the game, whether you have enough monsters to go back into Coral and Enemy and just summoning back monsters from your graveyard, or just going into Marine Cess Dive and just playing off of that. Finally, Marine Cess Wave is not solely a negate that also protects all of your monsters on the field, but if really necessary, you can also use it as ways to protect monsters as long as you have a link to or higher Marine Cess on your field on activation. I think there's a lot of interesting decks right now that could easily afford every form of the word playable, but these are all decks that actually have topped recently. That's why I'm talking about them today. But that being said, I hope you all enjoyed the video. And why not watch this one that I have over here? I think it'll be perfect for you after watching this. I'll see you after the catnip.